All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. Your host, Sandy Shellis, tonight instead of last night. I took a little zig when I should have zagged, which was my own fault because last year I had pieces of metal that was from the roof. It was siding, and I put it down around my garden. And well, I really should have picked it up before the winter time because it's a little slippery when it's under snow and you don't see that you have that. So that's what I did. I slid on it and I tell everybody, oh my gosh, don't stand near the garden because I put that down. I never took it up. So I learned my own lesson because I was going to get the mail and I'm like, oh, thinking of other things like usual and doing things. So I want to thank you all for being so sweet, and saying the nicest things and telling me to feel better and all that. I'm okay. I just hurt, but it's not from that necessarily. It's a lot of other things. So anyway, so tonight, we're going to talk about the Doomsday Clock. But I was looking at last year's show and probably the year before and the year before. We've covered this show a million times, and every time they do it. And I want to go through a little bit different and just have a conversation about it. I mean, there's a lot of things that make them make their decision. They are nuclear scientists, nuclear physicists. That's their thing. Bureau of Atomic Scientists. And when the Cold War happened back then, because there's a graphic I forgot to get it up. I have to get it up. And there was they we had different technology too. And we didn't have the same communications, different weapons of destruction. They weren't as good, they weren't as powerful as they are now. But we have crazy weapons now. We have drones, we have internet connections, we have Starlink, unfortunately, and AI is getting stronger. But we have terrible leaders. So there's all a lot of reasons besides just what they say in their videos and all that. But really, we may not just talk about their the usual suspects: nuclear, climate change, polit well, some politics, right? I mean, again, there's been technological advances in missiles, advances in nuclear material production, active warring by nuclear ready nations, but there's a blind eye ignoring, the blatant atrocities that are being conducted by nuclear ready nations, and again applauding psycho buffoons, these psychos, world leaders, and we know who they are applauding the most. And then we have a nuclear armed nation. They're waging war in Europe, threatening to invade its neighbors now as well. Well, and assisted by two other nuke armed nations, and we've done nothing, you know, to combat climate change. So I guess it's kind of accurate that they moved it a second. It's a second, but and it's like about the weapons that can be used in the volatility of our world. We are in a volatile world, and a lot of people think the USA is on the brink of war. We've got the orange turd himself. He's declared he might use military on Canada, Mexico, Panama, Greenland, all sovereign nations. And then you've got, Russia, North Korea, China. It all mixes into the whole doomsday thing. But the thing is, this, we talk about this information all the time, but we are we leave out things, right? And well, before I go on, let me say hi, Christy. Oh, don't worry, it's not going to be as horrible. But I'm so glad you're here. Jean, thank you for moderating. Kim, you're here. Thank you for moderating, my wonderful moderators. Hello, Poppy. Hello, Looney Tunes. Thank you for moderating. After this show, I'm not going to make it super long because we've got left past 10 and we've got a guest tonight. He calls himself the All-American Socialist, Michael Richards. I've known him online for a long time, and he's got a thing. He's going to talk. So, yeah. So anyway, hi, hello, Kim. I'm okay. I'm just sore, but it's not sore from slipping like an idiot. That was a twist. I caught myself. I just needed to not sit last night. My bones hurt. Something going on. Something's going on with me. Maybe it's just wintertime. It is, it was snowing today. I have to say one thing. It was snowing today like crazy, really big snowstorm. And it's been a winter this year here in this area. I've liked it. I've liked the snow. I had the driveway plowed yesterday and today. The same guy came back. That's the first time I've had my very long driveway plowed in 4 years. So it feels good. It feels good that I've looked outside and it's been white outside. It feels good that I can walk in the snow, bundle up, and I like it. Only not putting down stupid roofing, metal roofing, and then sliding on that. That's pretty stupid, but anyway. So it's great to see you, and let's get started. I'm going to just bring up their website, and I'm going to show you really quickly also what I've done. Last year, I might, let's see if I could just put up last year's, not the whole show or anything, but it was worth looking at the beginning. So let's see. This was last year's show, and let's see here. So why don't we watch the beginning of last year's show? Why not? I couldn't find the actual video, but we'll just take a look at it and see what I did last year. Okay? All right.
Good evening.
All right, that was last year. Purple hair. I don't have that hair anymore, but we're going to go through. So, now we're kind of relaxed. So now we know that was what I did last year, which was a very long intro. I've kind of cut my intros down because I think a lot of them are just probably too long for everybody. But all right, so let's just talk about the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists really quickly. And they have a whole video that's 57 minutes, and it's actually really good. But I'm not going to play that, obviously, because I just did that for you. But I want to talk about their overview. They have the overview, and they've got all these people talking about it. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's closer than ever. But I already explained to you some of it, why it is. There are people that say that nuclear weapons are a good thing because they're a deterrent. And if countries have nuclear weapons, then they are deterring each other from using them. I don't particularly like that, but this is what they have on their site. Hang on. I'm drinking white willow bark tea, which is good for pain. So the Doomsday Clock, and let's. All right. So what is it? It's a design that warns the public about how close we are to destroying our world with dangerous technologies of our own making. And these are the dudes that started it. I mean, dudes, females, whatever. These are the people, the atomic scientists started it. It's a metaphor. It's a reminder of the perils we must address if we are to survive on the planet. What do you think? We're going to survive? Okay. When the Doomsday Clock was created in 47, the greatest danger to humanity came from nuclear weapons, in particular from the prospect that the United States and the Soviet Union were headed for that arms race. So the bulletin, they considered possible catastrophic disruptions from climate change in its hand-setting deliberations for the first time in 2007. And there's a lot of stuff. Here's the recent clock changes. Let me move this over a little bit. Here, 2015 was 3 minutes to midnight. That does seem quite disconcerting, doesn't it? Where it is now. 2017, 2.5 minutes. 2018, it's 2 minutes. 2020, 220 seconds. 220 seconds, 100 seconds. 2023, 90 seconds, and now it's 89 seconds. So, obviously seconds are time. It's time. It's a lot different time. Who decides what time it is? So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to say the Science and Security Board, they were entrusted with the responsibility, and since that time, Science and Security Board has met twice a year to discuss these world events, right? And scientists and other experts with deep knowledge of nuclear technology and climate science, who often provide expert advice to governments and international agencies. Now, when were the hands? We could look at some of this, but the hands were. Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to go. When were the hands the farthest away? Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up this picture. I have a picture, and if I use this graphic, I think. Let me set this graphic up. If I do this graphic, I think I can talk instead of looking. I don't want to read. I really don't. I want to talk about things. And I'm going to bring this graphic up. If you give me a minute, I forgot to do it. And, yeah, completely forgot to do it. Here it is. Okay. Here it is. Sorry, you know that when I'm trying to do shit, I talk. Okay, here it is. So we can discuss. Let's get this fitting. Can you. Uh oh. Okay, can you see it? Let me make it a little bit bigger. And all right. So 1947, we look at this and we see 7 minutes to midnight, which was the initial arbitrary setting. And then 1949 was 3 minutes to midnight. So it went, when the start of the nuclear arms race happened, it went quite a few minutes change, right? 1953, 2 minutes to midnight, US and Soviet Union test the first hydrogen bombs. 7 minutes again. 1960, it went back because of the nuclear testing moratorium. So when nuclear events happened, the time did change. There was a little hope, right? A little hope. 1963, 12 minutes to midnight, US, UK, and Soviet Union signed the Limited Test Ban Treaty. It was pretty cool. I think, I of course don't remember, but 1991, 17 minutes to midnight. 1991, here we're jumping around in this, obviously, but that's because the US and the Soviet Union signed the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, the two countries that had the biggest amount of nukes. Now a lot of other countries have it, but by 2020 it went back 100 seconds to midnight because of, well, more things. Rising danger of climate change, nuclear proliferation, which I talked about, and a breakdown in arms control cooperation. We had Iran. And then when the orange turd first came in, didn't he just like rip up the agreement that Obama had with him? And 2023, 90 seconds to midnight, Russia threatens to use nuclear weapons in its war with Ukraine. So it's just very, very small. I mean, it's just I don't know, not that detailed. Okay, put it that way, not that detailed. But it helps you understand why, at least from the nuclear atomic scientists, why they would do that. What happened here? Oh, okay. Anyway, I just saw something in the chat with somebody who's a follower. I mean, I hope you guys aren't already having problems. So I'm moving on. And like I said, it's really not going to be a long show, but I want to talk about Lyle Lewis. And I want to talk about what he said about the Doomsday Clock. And this is the interesting part. This is very interesting part. Because I was thinking the same thing. It's nuclear, it's climate science and all that. But the Doomsday Clock, he says, and I wrote to him about this, and I told him I was going to do this. The Doomsday Clock doesn't consider the loss of biodiversity or bioaccumulating chemical toxins and microplastics, right? We're mere seconds from midnight. So you think about it. Really think about it. All of the toxins and we've talked about it on the channel, microplastics, PFAS, all of the pollutants. Well, Lyle brings it up. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about the chemicals that are all over. They don't talk about, let's say, accidents around the world, nuclear spills, things like that. So that's why I saw this and I went back to Shitter, and Alex commented, well, could we be past midnight? And Lyle says, well, if the clock represents hominid existence, 6 million years, We've less than a second away from midnight, assuming midnight is extinction, right? And then Alex said, odd symbolic structure, isn't it? We've known all our lives with these nuclear weapons lying around that the potential for billions dying quickly is there. Everyone attempting to guess what future populations will be. I read Asimov's Foundation at a very young age. We love Isaac Asimov here. And Lyle then says, well, I read part of an interview where one of the scientists used the two-letter word, if. The word if is always the kiss of death. Oh my gosh. And Alex answered, logic people love the if A and then B sentences. And then Lyle's like, well, if is a favorite of the hopium crowd. If we stop deforestation of the Amazon is one I've heard every year this century. When there is one tree left in the Amazon, we'll probably still hear it. And Alex is like, nice one. All right. And then he goes with some music and Lyle's, but Stan then comes in. And these are all people that we are on a on threads with. H5N1. If it was one of those old electric alarm clocks, it would be making that 2 seconds of faint buzz. I don't think I have a noise that's that could be like a faint buzz. I don't. And then Lyle's like, well, I gave them the benefit of the doubt when they said pandemics. We are close. And we're talking now. There's all kinds of new things. But Stephen, who I really like, Stephen Barlow, biodiversity loss has always been the Cinderella subject. No one wants to talk about it. It's all very complex, and there are no easy imaginary techno fixes. It's also the umbrella. It's the only threat that, if addressed, would improve everything. Instead, we're liquidating biodiversity to pay for the imaginary techno fixes. It's a recipe for extinction. Kim, good point. Time is of the essence. And so there were some good people. The curators of the Doomsday Clock are very bright people. For decades, we have totally ignored their warnings. Menace inured. Are we? But not for long. And biodiversity loss and climate change demand immediate attention and action. So I thought that this was worth going over. I don't usually do the whole X thing. I really don't. But I liked the thread, and it was a different way of discussing the clock, okay? I wish I knew what was going on out there in the chat. Where's Christy? Oh my God. All right. I don't know what happened. Lyle Lewis, humans think a few decades are significant. Doing otherwise puts our life into perspective. 100 years is a pinprick in time. There are so many weak links in our ecological chain. It is nothing more than wishful thinking, believing that one of them doesn't break soon. So he goes into this conversation with the pragmatic party. And I don't think I'm going to go through this whole thing, but it was good, and you can look at it. But basically, they go through the nuclear risk, climate change, disruptive technologies such as AI and biosecurity, which, you don't think of a lot of that. That's the sicknesses. That is what's going to happen to us when more and more of these pandemics happen, because they're going to happen. They're going to happen. We have too many people, right? And they're just going to happen. So I'm coming back. Like I said, I'm not making this a super long show, but I really wanted to go over this in that different way, because again, we could talk all about climate And we could talk all about the same things we talk about all the time. But I really, really, really wanted to go over biodiversity. So everything that happens is forgotten. Human beings have microplastics, PFAS in their brains, in their bodies. Animals, they found it in the Arctic. They have found all of that stuff. So how is that not bringing us closer to midnight? How? I don't know. So what's happening out there? Anybody have any questions? And don't forget, I have the benefit for the animal shelter in Pasadena. And yes, this is live. I'm right here. I'm right here. The benefit in Pasadena is almost over, and I'll be sending it in when YouTube sends. I think it's almost $400. But yeah. So who has questions? And I wish I knew what happened in the chat. I really do. Did Christy leave? Because I mean, Kim, you don't know her, but I mean, she is she is a friend. So I don't know what happened in the chat. Let's see, Billy Joe. Doomsday Clock is a bunch of academics working in universities talking about what they think might happen. Well, yes, what they think might happen. Of course. Well, what do you think? They study, and that's what it is. But they leave out so much. And I see that climate chaos is here, talking about the blue ocean event potential, and that I don't know if that's mentioned. I don't know. So there's so many other reasons for us to be terrified, but I didn't want to do that. I really just want to okay. Kim, tell me what AC is. I guess we'll talk about this after. I don't know what who was bashing. Christy's typically not a basher, and we're in a lot of chats together. And all right. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I can't control everything, and I trust my moderators. So all right. So let's talk to you guys because, like I said, I'm not doing a super long show. We know what the Bureau of Atomic Scientists are. We know that one nuclear weapon could really do a lot of damage to any country. We also know that other countries, some people think that they're the greatest thing, that they're just deterrents. So we have to keep mining for uranium for them. Hey, T-Rex will be back. You'll think? You think? Gosh. All right. We don't have many questions. Hi, Dave. All right. Hi, David. David's here. You've made several good points, Sandy, about risk factors, including other species than human. Well, I got it from Lyle, made me start thinking about this as I've been thinking about the show. And, it was going to be a different show over the last couple of days. But then I started feeling like, wow, there are more things than just what they talk about. We know we're in a climate crisis. We're in a poly crisis, but we're extincting animals by the day. So doesn't that have something to do with the clock, the proverbial clock? And yes, we're humans. We're always going to have conflicts. And those are the things that will take us closer, right? That will close. They'll take us closer. Hey, Nina. I've been getting up in the morning watching the True North Eager Beaver with Canadian commentators, and I have learned so much about Canadian politics. It's really interesting. It is fascinating. I'm very much enjoying my mornings with them. So, yeah, I do like it. I definitely like it. Yeah, let's see here. Meanwhile, the Green Techno Group ignore biodiversity also. Yes, they do. They do. And it's so important. I mean, it should be essential to include that discussion. But perhaps the problem is if they included that discussion, It would be too real. And then people wouldn't go shopping. I mean, it's one thing when the scientists, they talk about all of the nuclear, the things that kind of feel like they're just not in our faces. But when you talk about microplastics, you talk about the illnesses that we're experiencing. You talk about those things, that's in your face. That's up close and personal. That's not just, okay, well, the doomsday clock, here we go again. That's the thing, right? All right, Kelly, you said, what about Meta? I bet she's highlighted this issue. She probably has. Meta Spencer on hers. It used to be To Save the World. And now her name is Meta Spencer. She's a 93-year-old in Canada who was a journalist. And she does a channel which she's had some fantastic guests. And the latest was Paul Beckwith, and why can I not remember the other person who is somebody I write to? And that's that's a function of pain, not remembering things. So I got, I wish the characters would come. Thank you for it's pounds, right? That's great because it'll be going to the animal shelter, which I'm like I said, we're almost to $400, which is, let's see, $400 we'll do a kitty, and then we will do the crowd happy. No, not the crowd. No, no, no. We want the good crowd. Yeah. Okay, the good crowd. Forgive me. I am really kind of off tonight. I'm off tonight, and I guess I should not pay attention to what goes on in the chat when I have moderators to do that. All right. So, aw, okay. We don't have a lot of hope, but we try. All right, let's see, Keith. Plastics can't be too bad. Plastics are made from natural gas and petroleum. They'll soon be gone, right? Oh, yeah, they're natural, all right, because they were once living things. Yeah, but plastics are hideous. So they don't talk. Do they talk about it? I don't know if they even talked about those chemicals, the whole chemical industry. All righty, let's see. What else do we have? Because I want to bring you guys in because honestly, I really did not want to do like last year, an hour and a half talking about the Bureau of Atomic Scientists. And we all know all this stuff. And when I saw that again, it was, here we go. She was a sociology professor at the University of Toronto. She wrote an intro to sociology textbook. I just love her. She and I were planning on doing something, and then her site got hacked by porn bots. Something happened. She had a problem with YouTube, but she's wonderful. She's back on under her name, Meta Spencer. I'll put a link to that last video she did because everything she does is darling. And To Save the World was so sweet. And she had Peter Wadhams on all the time. I mean, she's good. She's really good. 93 years old. I'm this age and I'm hurting and falling apart. And she's 93 years old doing a YouTube channel. Yep. All right, wait a minute. I'm having difficulty finding atmospheric oxygen levels that are accurate and up to date with phytoplankton, and most oxygen producers gone. Oxygen level is decreasing rapidly. Well, that's a Jim thing. That's absolutely a Jim thing. Yeah, you did? Cool. See, I'm really loving the Canadians. And I got my Canadian flag. It's here. I will be hanging that, the Canadian flag. And because I dreamed of Greenland, and I've been dreaming of Greenland and Canada. These are in my dreams. Maybe I'll get a Greenland flag also. And then everybody that passes my house can just think I'm crazy. Which, why not? Why not? So where are the rest of the questions? Nobody has anything. Aw. We plumb the depths in seas of certainties. The effects are catastrophic. Our caring and sharing while bearing the faring of a Harley Davidson mother that needs another renovation. Round of kindness. I got a lot of kindness from you guys, and I'm no longer a Harley Davidson mother. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's Chris's birthday. Happy birthday, Chris. I don't think I have any happy birthdays. I don't know. But I'm glad this is an easy show tonight. I could have really gone deep into all that. Yeah, I could bring her on. Sandee. She spells it Sandee. Yep. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff going on up there, and the pollution and the destruction of Alberta and the things that are going on now geopolitically with Canada that the orange turd has started. So it's just awful. It has just, yeah. Yes, they. Yes, Sandy, they. Forgive me. Woohoo. Alberta, your home. Yes. Our neighbors to the north. Aw, hi, Janet. It's not been much of a deep show. I mean, really, I have not. I really didn't. I could have, like I said, just go back and watch last year's show. You can watch it. It's exactly a year ago when they did 90 seconds to to midnight. And I'm not laughing at that. This it's not funny. None of it is funny. All of it is horrible. I mean, none of it is. Right. You know what? Where are you? She said that. You do you know, Tracy? I did a show. I did the Crone show, and I have Crone cards, and I did a whole show on being a crone. It was great. Kim, you remember the Crone show, right? And so maybe I will have to do it again. Do I believe in the healing power of hemp and cannabis? I do. And actually, before the show, I rubbed some. I have some in a jar, and I rubbed it on me, but it's not working like I wanted it to. But yeah, I'll have to send you or put up the link so you see the link of the Crone show, or maybe do another one because it was very good, and we went through the cards and what people felt about aging. Yes, and I've earned it. I am still not the elder in the community. That is Carolyn Baker. Carolyn Baker, our wonderful psychologist, Dr. Carolyn Baker, author, and somebody, the person I bring on when we need to have, yeah. Every person who can read should read Hiroshima by John Hershey, first journalist there after the bomb. Yes, sounds like it would be. Guess by discussing the Doomsday Clock, you have given us the time of days. By the way, David Mitchell, I did edit your video and I will be putting up, if you missed the show on crops, on the crops program, I will be putting it up all edited without any error. So we should enjoy that. I will put it up probably on the weekend. All right, well, listen. Left Past 10 is coming up. I did want to just keep, that's at 10 o'clock with a guest, but I really wanted to keep this about 45 minutes and not belabor. You know, you can read 50 zillion articles about it, about the Bureau of Atomic Scientists. I wasn't going to read to you tonight. I just wanted to talk to you about all the reasons that they say. But, you know, nuclear risk, climate change, disruptive technologies, and biosecurity, but not talking about wildlife, not talking about biodiversity, not talking about ecology, not talking about, okay, like exactly what's happening in LA now. Now, the problem, it's been raining. And now the toxins in all of the burned up homes and all that are going to be a problem on the California coastline. I mean, and this stuff is replicated all over the world. We've seen all last year, and as I do last week in collapse, which actually I want to do on Tuesday nights, but I think that I had to really cover the doomsday clock, as, even if I didn't go in depth. And yes, Jean, sweetheart, I love you, new mama. Nuclear war could happen by accident, by misunderstanding. Of course it could. And the orange turd is somebody I don't trust, but I didn't trust him the first 4 years. But now he has yes people around him. And it's pretty scary and it's pretty gross. If you didn't see my newest video, my political video, I updated a Rod Serling piece. Please watch it. It's under my videos. It's the newest video on there. Okay. And it's really been great to have all you. Thank you for, putting up with me. And like I said, I'm going to be on at 10 o'clock. It's a completely different show than this, with the All-American Socialist as the guest. Christy, Christy doesn't live far from me. We've been actually trying to figure out when we were going to meet for lunch because she's not far from me. We are having an extinction event 150,000 times the normal background rate. Yeah, right? You'd think that it would be newsworthy in the papers or people talking about it. No, but they are talking about it. They're talking about the Doomsday Clock. But if you go on X, of course, on X, it's a big joke. It's a conspiracy. It's bull crap. Scientists are worthless. Blah, 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 blah. I was just really glad to bump into Lyle's thread about biodiversity. In fact, you know what? Let me really quickly, I can look it up in front of me, and I will end the show by reading. Okay, if I can find it. Let me read what we wrote back and forth to each other because I just really adore him. Okay, I told him I was going to do the show on what he said. And he said, good for you. They don't say anything about invasive species, groundwater depletion or contamination, adequate clean drinking water, or the things that you and I talked about together: declining planetary productivity, more flooding, droughts. You got plenty of material, and he was right. He said, so really we do. So maybe next year we write to them and say, okay, we're 89 seconds to midnight. Now factor in all of those things that I just mentioned and see if they even want to do it. Maybe not. I know that they are nuclear scientists, but it's time for them to bring, it's time to bring. Hey, listen, you're great. Anti-corporatist, wonderful person. He's a truck driver. He will do videos. He will do shows from his truck, but he watches Paul Beckwith. He knows the score. He calls himself a doomer. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people from the other, from my other life. I have my family here and I have my letter hack family. And I have to say I'm quite grateful. I really am. Okay, so I'm going to say goodnight. I'll see you at 10 o'clock on Letterhack. I don't know if I'm going to put it on. I don't know if I'm going to restream it here because if the guest doesn't stay very long, maybe everybody should just go over to his channel, and I won't multi-stream only because I think I'm not going to be able to sit for very long. But just remember, everyone, love the one you're with. Oh, wait a minute. We have to do a flush of the day, which I was reminded by Sam that I did not do a flush of the day on Sunday. So I'd say if we were going to flush something, I would really... Well, what do you think, guys? Should we flush biodiversity loss? let's flush nukes. Kelly's got it. Where are you, Kelly? All right. And Kelly's got a great channel too, by the way. Yep. Maybe I'll put all these links in. Okay, I'm going to flush nukes. Bye-bye. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so I flushed the nukes. I'll see you guys later. I'm not sure if it'll be, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to multi-stream it. So if I'm not here, I will be over at the Letter Hacks channel, and we'll see you later. I've got some music to play to say goodbye, and thank you for the super chat, because like I said, everything's going to the animal shelter, and I hope to have $400. I just think that makes me feel so good. Okay, all right, you guys are just wonderful. And now I have a nuclear weapon in my septic tank. I love you, Humpty Dumpty tribe. My best male friend on the planet. Crazy male friend on the planet. Oh, all right. There we go. See ya soon.